Are you a black cat or a white cat? And is your man a golden retriever, or is he a Rottweiler or a Doberman or a German Shepherd or a Chihuahua or a Poodle? You want, just pick the bear. Hello everyone, I'm Sarah from Everyday Starlet. Welcome to my channel. I make videos to inspire you to be the star of your own life. Today I want to talk about the phenomenon I've seen online of like boyfriends as dogs, girlfriends as cats, and I think it kind of started as like a black cat, golden retriever, and it's gone into like all kinds of different types of animals, and I want to kind of try to break these down a little bit and talk to you about how they tie into masculine feminine energy dynamics. Before I get into this, if you're curious to know what I mean by masculine and feminine energies, I have a ton of videos on this content, so I'm not going to dive into that here. You can look up some of my other videos, and I tried to make more playlists to get a little bit more specific about the types of energies and things like that. So if there's any other playlists you want me to make so I can help categorize the videos better, let me know. When I talk about masculine and feminine energies, I'm not talking about like the stereotypes of masculinity or the stereotypes of femininity. I'm talking about things energetically. I also want to make a disclaimer because I feel like I have to say this. I know people are all like, you don't need your disclaimers, but in the world today, unfortunately, we do. Okay, when I start talking about like black cat energy or like golden retriever energy or different pet energies and stuff, I'm talking about these stereotypes of these animals in people form. So like, I'm not knocking your pet personally, and I realize that there's a lot of people, like people get really defensive when you talk about a type of dog, like if they have that type of dog or whatever, and they're like, no, my dog is this way or my dog is that way. I didn't make up these categories. These are categories that I did some research on because people have been talking about them. I don't really know how they originated. I know there's probably people online that are going to take credit for them, but they probably didn't invent these things. I don't know where it happened. It just kind of showed up on the internet one day and people ran with it. So these are like stereotypes of different animals, but please don't start, you know, coming to me with like, well, I have a golden retriever and they don't act anything like this. I mean, like I had a friend that had like a basset hound, are normally pretty docile animals, and like this was a mean dog. So like, you just don't know. Like, and I'm not at all trying to hate on your pets, and I know particularly dog people get like really sensitive about their pets and stuff. So again, I'm literally translating these things. It's the stereotypes of different types of like dog breeds and different types of cats and translating them into like human form. So I'm not trying to hate on anybody's pets here. Get that out of the way, because I know people are really sensitive about their pets. I personally, I've never been in a situation, like a living situation, where I could have a pet, so I've never had a pet. I do know though, and this is like a total aside, but I have always been curious about this. I've dated a disproportionate number of cat men, like guys who had not even just a cat, but multiple cats. Not a lot of guys, but like I'd say like the percentage of men that I've dated have had a disproportionate number of cats. And I've always been curious like what that means about me. I mean, probably that I'm crazy, but like that's beside the point. Like, I've always wondered what it meant. I've dated several guys that had multiple cats, and I've always been curious like what that symbolizes, like the difference between like a cat man and a dog man. And I've tried to do research about this, but I feel like I just keep finding articles talking about how cat men make great boyfriends, but I think they're all written by cat men, so I don't think that they're totally accurate. And I always wanted to put it out there online, like if anybody knew like what it meant that I kept attracting cat men, but I just figured I'm friends with way too many comedians from my days in stand-up comedy, so I just figured I'd just get a whole bunch of responses of like, because they like pussy. Like I was like, I just don't need that hack comment, so I was like, I just never put it out there. I do always find it ironic that like when guys will come online and like make comments like, enjoy your single days with your cats, and I'm like, I feel like if I stayed in my past relationships, I was more likely to become a crazy cat lady because I was dating crazy cat guys. And now that I'm single, I don't have any cats, so that whole crazy cat lady thing has never made sense to me. I don't know. Anyway, that's just a whole tangent of me and my exes. But anyway, I don't have any personal investment in any of these pets or these pet names or anything like that. But I will say that like stereotypically, historically, cats have been a representation of the feminine. Cats, cat-like energy. In fact, there's a lot of psychology that says that if you dream about, you know, cats, you know, big cats or house cats, or you dream about cats, it's usually symbolic of trying to tap into your feminine energy. I mean, obviously dreams are are always up for interpretation, but I do notice that when I'm really diving into my feminine energy, I have very vivid dreams about like big cats, like leopards and lioness and things like that. So cat energy has always been sort of connected to like the divine feminine. So there was this push for women to connect with their black cat energy. I think there can be some interpretation about what black cat energy is. I think some people are interpreting it as sort of like a coldness of a detached energy, and I suppose it can be if that's how you want to interpret it. The way I would prefer to look at black cat energy is it's really more about connecting to your dark feminine energy. Black cat energy is very much like dark feminine, which is not cold and detached. In fact, dark feminine energy in general is very connected to your emotions. I think sometimes it gets interpreted as like, oh, you just don't care about him. And it's not that you don't care about other people. You're just very comfortable in your own solidarity. If you'd like to know more about connecting to your dark feminine energy, I have the Dark Feminine Energy Guided Journal. That is a journal that you can dive into. It goes into the dark feminine archetypes. I have a video on here diving into dark feminine energy and the power of dark feminine energy, as well as a video about the dark feminine archetypes. This journal is great for helping you connect with that. And if you're looking to get rid of your desperation, which that's really what it is when you connect your black cat energy, you're not desperately attached to finding a relationship and finding a partner, I highly recommend you check out the Recovering Pick Me Girl Guided Journal that I have just released, because that's really going to help you get rid of your desperation, your pick me energy, which is really your desperation, which is going to be repelling to a quality partner. So I've seen more people talk about like white cat energy. The way it's been described online, I think I would summarize it as light feminine energy. So there's light feminine energy and there's dark feminine energy. And so there's been some women who are like, I don't relate to the black cat energy of like the darkness and things like that they want to connect to their white cat energy, which is really light feminine energy. Some of it's personal preference. I think everybody is going to feel more comfortable in one energy or the other. I've seen some women talking now about like golden cat energy and different things. And, you know, I'm sure that we could go into all the different colored cats and different types of cats and it could go crazy. But at the end of the day, it's healthy for all women to have a connection to both your light feminine energy and your dark feminine energy. Most women today, unfortunately, are connected to their masculine energy, and it's really important to heal from that because most women are going to be feminine at their core. It's good to have a healthy connection to your masculine energy, but really if your energy is feminine at its core, which for most women it is, it's really important to connect with that feminine energy, but to embrace both your light feminine and your dark feminine. But for the most part, most women will feel a little bit more comfortable in one or the other. That's going to vary from woman to woman, but it's healthy to have a connection to both your light feminine and your dark feminine. If you want more information about like the light feminine energy archetypes, your divine feminine energy archetypes essentially, I have videos on here about those as well. There's also a lot about connecting to your light feminine energy archetypes in both of my guided journals, if you want to check those out. That's kind of a brief summary of black cat and white cat energy. Generally speaking, if you want to be in your feminine energy, you want to be in your cat energy. There are men that embody those cat-like energies. Generally speaking, those are going to be guys who are more in their feminine, which if you're a feminine core being, because of sexual polarity, you're going to want a masculine partner. However, I've noticed that the different type of dog energies that people are talking about kind of relate to different types of masculine energy. One of the main topics I've seen is like, as a woman, if she gets into her black cat energy, she attracts a golden retriever man. I've seen a lot of people use examples of this and things like that, and people are starting to see that as couple goals. But I have seen a lot of women saying that they just don't feel like they want a golden retriever type boyfriend. And frankly, I get it, because it does kind of feel like the black cat golden retriever boyfriend thing tends to be like the woman is super detached and the man is kind of like needy and clingy and trying to follow her around. I'm not saying that that's even what the energies were intended to be, but I think it does feel like that. I'm not really big on attachment styles, but people have kind of compared it to like the black cat being the avoidant attachment and the golden retriever kind of being the anxious attachment, and like the avoidant attachment is kind of bringing out the anxious attachment and making them chase. And I do think there's a difference between a man chasing a woman and a man pursuing a woman. I think chasing often gives desperation, like he's desperate for a partner, which is going to be repelling to anybody. Desperation repels everyone. Whereas a man pursuing a woman can feel very attractive, but if he's desperately chasing a woman, it can feel very off-putting because desperation is just, it's unappealing. None of us are attracted to desperation unless we're a manipulator and we want to use someone, in which case desperation makes a person a good victim. So if you're looking for a healthy relationship, you don't want to be in desperation, and that's for men and women. I think a lot of women are feeling like this black cat, golden retriever type dynamic is kind of almost like the woman taking the lead and the man kind of following around, kind of like a little pet, like a dog, like kind of like, you know, her having to be in the lead, which is not really masculine feminine dynamics. So I think that that's why there are some women who are feeling a little bit put off by the concept of the golden retriever boyfriend. Some women are on board with it, and if that's what you want, more power to you. And I do get it, like the concept of like wanting a guy to be really into you, like that makes sense. But I think some women are going to find it exhausting to have to kind of constantly be this kind of cold, detached energy. Now, I do know there's a lot of women who've said that this kind of dynamic and learning about this dynamic has been very helpful because they are getting less attached to a guy really quickly, which is a good thing. Like, I think a woman healing her desperation and being able to connect to that like dark feminine energy of like being able to stand in her own power, very healthy. However, when you attract a guy who's got that like golden retriever energy of being like that, I just want to follow her around all the time, it's going to start to feel exhausting. It's going to start to feel a bit desperate. It might feel a bit clingy to a lot of people, and it's going to start to feel like she's the one that's leading the relationship and not like he's a grounded, stable leader. And I'm not saying that like golden retrievers can't be grounded and stable, but I think people think of golden retrievers and there's loyalty there, but golden retrievers tend to have more of a playfulness about them. They tend to have like a it's time to play kind of thing, and that's more of the stereotype when it comes to them. And a boyfriend like that that's feeling very playful and feeling kind of like clingy and wanting to be around you all the time and things like that, it's gonna feel like a lot. It's gonna start to feel like he's a little bit more in the feminine, and that black cat golden retriever thing can very often feel like reverse polarity, where the woman ends up feeling like she's in this sort of like stoic masculine and the man is more in his kind of like feminine of wanting to cling to her type of thing. That's reverse polarity. I'm not saying that it can't happen in a healthy way, but it's really easy to fall into negative patterns there. So if you are a woman who's feeling like the golden retriever thing is just not for you, okay, like you're like, I don't really want to deal with a golden retriever boyfriend, there's a few other types of dogs as boyfriends. And honestly, if you want to just get a dog instead of a guy, no shame. I wouldn't judge you at all. There's a few other types that I found. I found a lot of different ones, but I'm just gonna focus on the main ones. I found there's the Rottweiler and the Doberman. I've seen the Doberman a little bit more often, and I feel like these are similar. There's probably some very loyal Doberman lovers out there. I grew up as a child next to a family that raised and like bred Doberman, and I had some very scary experiences with them, so they're not my favorite dogs. I have a lot of childhood trauma around them, so I'm gonna try to keep my biases out of this, but full disclosure, they're not my favorite dog breed. A lot of people are saying that like Doberman energy is kind of like that guy that like he'll be good to you and he'll be loyal to you, but he's like not nice to anybody else. I feel like that's kind of the bad boy. It's kind of the fantasy that women have of like the guy that is kind of like a bad boy, kind of an asshole, but like, oh, he'll be good to me. That's a tricky situation to get in. I actually think that that's more of a wounded masculine energy. If you want to know more about what wounded masculine energy is, I have a lot of other videos going into that, so I could dive into that, but if you are familiar with my content, you'll know what I mean. Like, it's very wounded masculine, I think, when you get into the Doberman energy. If you love Dobermans, no shame, but like, I think that that's more of what that is. I think sometimes we can convince ourselves that these guys are kind of like, well, they're good to us, they're just not too good to other people. And I know that can kind of feel appealing, but like eventually that guy's probably gonna end up taking out his assholeness onto us as well. So like, while the golden retriever can feel a little bit more like a guy, maybe in more feminine energy, even wounded feminine energy, the Doberman is gonna feel a little bit more like a wounded masculine. And if you're a woman who is maybe in her wounded feminine, you're kind of seeking a little bit of that man that may not treat you so well. Maybe that's what you're used to, maybe that's your comfort zone and things like that, because like wounded feminine can attract wounded masculine. If you're finding yourself attracted to kind of like a Doberman type, you might be a little bit more in your wounded feminine yourself. And healing from that, from stepping into your own cat energy, your dark and light feminine energies and things like that, can be very healing if you tend to be attracted to the one of the Doberman type. If you're looking for a healthy masculine man, I would describe that as the German Shepherd boyfriend. That's what I would aim for. I actually think most women who are in a healthy feminine energy, whether it be your dark or your light, are going to find a German Shepherd boyfriend to be the type of guy that really embodies a healthy masculine energy. That is the boyfriend who is like very loyal. He's very trained and disciplined. You think about it, like German Shepherds tend to be the type of dogs that get trained for police work and things like that. I know people are very controversial about police and the police department, but the concept of police to protect and serve, you know, that kind of thing, like the concept of police, military, things like that, very much masculine energy, protecting and serving, discipline, structure, all those kind of things. And the fact that German Shepherds tend to be dogs that they use in those environments, again, it gives off a very like healthy, grounded protector, can be trained, disciplined, can be very loving to, you know, their partner, but also has that very grounded, stable, like I will protect and serve and things like that. So honestly, when I hear women talk about the golden retriever boyfriend as being like the ideal, that's what you want, cool. But when I hear women like, the concept of a golden retriever boyfriend just doesn't appeal to me, I'm like, I think what you want is a German Shepherd boyfriend. I think if you are feeling like, the golden retriever boyfriend is feeling a little bit too needy, it's feeling a little bit too clingy, I don't think that's what it was intended to sound like, but it does feel a little bit less stable. I think of golden retrievers as being a little bit more like playful, and they're a little bit more the type that's going to kind of like follow the lead of black cat, so to speak, as opposed to the German Shepherd who's going to have like, I mean, they're trained, they're the ones who are going to sort of take charge, and like that's a more healthy masculine energy. So just to summarize, if you guys are hearing these terms online and you don't really know exactly what they mean and you want to get a summary of kind of the masculine feminine dynamics, black cat energy is going to be your dark feminine energy. White cat energy is going to be your light feminine energy. And as a woman, it's great to connect to both. Probably any other cat energies that they start coming up with, that people are coming up with, are probably going to be some combination of those two. I've seen golden cat energy, which I think people are talking about as being more youthful and playful, but like that can be connected to either your dark or your light, to be honest with you. So as far as feminine energy goes, as far as women, those are the energies that you really want to try to embody, because that's connected to your feminine energy. As far as boyfriends or husbands or men, your golden retriever boyfriend is gonna kind of feel a little bit more in his feminine, maybe even wounded feminine, but it's not necessarily gonna feel like a masculine partner. Your Doberman, or I would even say some people are calling it Rottweiler or something, boyfriend, is gonna feel a little bit more wounded masculine. It's gonna feel a little bit, maybe not quite as safe. That might appeal to your wounded feminine, but it's probably not going to appeal to your healthy feminine energy. If you want a healthy masculine man, you're going to want your German Shepherd boyfriend. You're going to want a man who embodies that German Shepherd energy of like protecting and serving, loyalty, structure, discipline. That's what you're going to look for. So if you're hearing some of these terms and you're like, everyone's obsessing over the golden retriever boyfriend and that's just not feeling good to me, because I've seen some people say like, oh, if you don't want a golden retriever boyfriend, then you've got healing work to do. And I'm like, I don't know. I kind of feel like that might be a good sign that you are healing, because a golden retriever boyfriend is going to feel a little bit more appealing to a woman who might be a little bit more in her masculine energy. So when a woman heals into her feminine energy, she's going to find the golden retriever type boyfriend to feel a little bit desperate and needy and a little bit in his feminine energy, which is going to be off-putting for her. Whereas like the German Shepherd boyfriend is going to be the one that feels very like grounded masculine. It's going to feel more like your masculine leader, your protector. There could be plenty of other types of boyfriends and different animals. I know there was a whole thing about, you know, women choosing the bear. At the end of the day, if you want to pick the bear, I get it. At the end of the day, if you'd rather just get a dog or get a cat than have a boyfriend, I know there's a lot of guys on there that like, anytime the woman says something online that they don't like, they're like, oh, enjoy your cats. And I'm like, you know, if men can be that easily replaced by getting a pet, how valuable are they? I don't know. I'm not trying to hate on men or anything, but again, these are just some common terms I've seen online, and I wanted to kind of summarize them for people that might be confused about like, I don't know, I have to meet a cat energy and I have to find a golden retriever and what, you know what I mean, like all this kind of stuff. I want to kind of summarize it a little bit so that it gave a little bit of clarity. So hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions or thoughts you want to add on this topic or something, or if you want to come up with your own type of dogs as boyfriends or cats as you or something like that or whatever, let me know. Leave a comment in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any video suggestions, let me know. I love your topic suggestions. Honestly, any engagement on this channel, like, subscribe, really does help boost these videos in the algorithm so more people can, you know, hear this message, and this can, you know, help more of us so we can have happier, healthier lives and relationships. If you would like to heal your wounded feminine energy, want to connect your dark feminine energy or your black cat energy, check out the Dark Feminine Energy Guided Journal. If you want to heal from your own desperation, check out the Recovering Pick Me Girl Guided Journal. Both of them are available on Amazon. Details are in the description box below, along with links to my courses, masterclasses, and all my social media links. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you join me next time.